Welcome to Exponential Tools, the show where we teach you how to use the emerging tools of the exponential age, AI, Web3, no code, and more, to build smarter, faster, and more creatively than ever before.
Today, we are diving into a new piece of hardware that's trying to completely change how we use Web3 on the move. I mean, think about it. What if the most important computer in your life, the one that's always in your pocket, was the key to finally bringing crypto to the masses?
So, to really get what this phone is all about, we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at what's so broken about using crypto on our phones right now. Then, we'll meet the Solana Seeker and its pretty unique toolkit. After that, we'll explore all the cool new things you can do with it, look at the big picture strategy, and of course, tell you how to get one. Let's jump in.
All right, let's start with the big problem that the Seeker phone was actually built to solve. You know, for years, the idea of using crypto on your phone has been this great promise. But the reality? Well, it's been kind of messy. I mean, using crypto on mobile has just been full of these headaches. The user experience, it's often clunky. You download one app, you got to write down a seed phrase. You download another app, you need another seed phrase. It's a total security nightmare. And for developers, it's even worse. They're basically held hostage by this duopoly, the big app stores that take a 30% cut and have these really vague, often anti-crypto rules. A team can port everything into an app just to get rejected, and that's game over. And on top of all that, how do you even reward your real users when you can't tell them apart from an army of bots?
So, to tackle all those challenges, Solana Mobile came out with its next-gen device. And this isn't just another phone with a crypto app slapped on. No, this is a complete rethink of what a phone can be for the decentralized world.
The Solana Seeker is an Android phone, but it's purpose-built with these deep hardware and software connections to the Solana blockchain. It follows its predecessor, the Saga phone, but it's aiming for a much wider audience with a price point of $500, which is way more accessible than the Saga's original $1,000 price tag. Plus, they're going global right out of the gate.
And you can tell people were waiting for something like this because the demand has been absolutely massive. The first Saga phone sold about 20,000 units. The Seeker, it just blasted past that with over 150,000 pre-orders. It really proves there's this huge pent-up demand for a better mobile crypto experience. People are seeing the vision now.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Look at where that demand is coming from. Less than 20% of the pre-orders are from the US. Over 80%? That's the rest of the world, mostly Europe and Asia. And that's so important because it gets around that iMessage lock-in that keeps so many Americans on iPhones. For people in these other markets, the Seeker isn't just a second crypto phone. It's a totally viable option for their main everyday device.
So what is actually under the hood that makes this phone so different? Well, it all comes down to this special toolkit of hardware and software designed to fix those exact problems we talked about earlier.
The first piece of the puzzle is the seed vault. And honestly, this is a total game changer for security. Instead of every single app having its own vulnerable seed phrase, the seed vault stores your private keys on a secure little chip on the hardware itself. It's totally separate from the Android operating system and all the other apps. It's like one key to rule them all, kept safe inside its own digital fortress.
And this quote from Emmett Hollier, the GM of Solana Mobile, just perfectly captures the whole idea. He says using Web 2 apps is so smooth, right? So doing crypto stuff shouldn't feel like everything just falls apart. The whole point is to make Web 3 feel just as easy and intuitive. So what does that actually look like when you use it? Well, signing a transaction becomes incredibly simple. A request just pops up on your screen, kind of like Apple Pay or Google Pay. You physically double-tap the power button on the side to say, yep, I want to do this, and then you just use your fingerprint to securely sign it. It's physical, it's fast, and it's super secure.
So that takes care of the user security. But the Seeker also goes right after that huge problem for developers: distribution. I mean, just look at this comparison. On one side, you have the traditional app stores with their 30% tax and their anti-crypto rules. And on the other, you have the Solana Dab Store. Zero fees, crypto-friendly rules, and an open door for submissions. It's a no-brainer.
This whole approach just gets back to the heart of what crypto is supposed to be. Like Holly McNackerer says, crypto is the land of no middleman. So why on earth should developers have to pay a 30% tax to some centralized gatekeeper? It just doesn't fit with the ethos of the entire space.
Okay, so we've got this new toolkit in place. So what can you actually do with it?
This is where it gets really fun. This new foundation opens up a whole range of creative and powerful things that just weren't very practical before.
So whether you're a crypto pro or just curious, the Seeker opens up a new world of things you can do on your phone. You can get exclusive app drops during what they call Seeker season. You can get special airdrops and rewards because developers know you're a real person. You can even earn money passively with DeepN apps. That's decentralized physical infrastructure, where your phone helps power real-world networks. Or, if you're really security-focused, you could just use it as your dedicated super secure crypto phone. But maybe the biggest thing is you can finally transact knowing you're dealing with real people, not bots.
Now, these features aren't just a random list of perks. They're all designed to kickstart this self-reinforcing growth loop. Solana calls it the Seeker flywheel. Let's take a look at how it's supposed to work.
Okay, the whole strategy is built on this positive feedback loop. And the first push on that flywheel comes from getting users. Things like exclusive rewards and unique app drops during Seeker season. That gives people a really good reason to buy the phone in the first place.
So now you have an audience. And, super important, it's a real, verifiable group of users, not just a bunch of bots. For a developer, that's a huge economic opportunity. It's not a gamble anymore. There's a real market there waiting for them. So it's suddenly worth it to spend the time and money to build cool stuff. And with more developers jumping in, you get this explosion of creativity. They bring more innovation, more useful apps, and the kind of unique experiences you just can't get anywhere else. And that, of course, makes the entire Seeker platform even more valuable for everybody.
And that brings us right back to the beginning. More great apps bring in even more users, who then attract even more developers. The wheel starts to spin faster and faster, all on its own. And that's the end game, a vibrant, self-sustaining mobile crypto ecosystem that can finally bring in that next wave of users.
So after all that, you're probably wondering, okay, how can I get my hands on one of these and become part of that flywheel myself?
Well, if you're ready to jump in, it's actually pretty simple. As you can see, the Solana Seeker is priced at $500, and you can get it directly from their website, solanamobile.com. And like we saw with those pre-order numbers, they are definitely leaning into that global demand, shipping to over 50 countries right from the get-go.
The Seeker really represents this big bet that the future of the decentralized internet isn't going to be stuck on our desktops. It's going to live right here, in our pockets. And that leaves us with a really big question to think about. Is the device you use every single day about to become the next frontier, the main battleground for decentralization? This is Exponential Tools, brought to you by Exponential Tom. Learn more and join the movement at exponentialtom.com.